faithfully delivering value and interpreting great books from around the world. Hello. This is Sally talking books. Way back over 2,000 years ago, Greek myths were already being sung to the sound of the Aegean Sea waves. And today, it's fully woven into the fabric of human culture. Take the night sky above us, for instance. Countless constellations that all tie back to Greek myth stories. Or think about computer viruses, like the Trojan horse, which got its name from the Trojan horse story. Oh, and let's not forget a classic Japanese anime, Saint Seiya. It's set against ancient Greek myths for its characters, and honestly, for many 80s and 90s kids, this was their first brush with Greek mythology. Even though Greek myths are pretty familiar today, what's the deeper meaning behind all these wild tales? Well, the book we're covering today is all about clearing up that mystery. It's titled The Wisdom of Myths. Just like the title says, it digs into the deep wisdom hidden in ancient Greek myths. The author is Luce Ferry, a modern French philosopher. On top of that, he's got a pretty unique role. Back in 2002 to 2004, he was France's Minister of Education. He's not holed up in an ivory tower. He's all about making philosophy accessible, and the wisdom of myths is a great example of that. Now, just to clarify, even though there are tons of books out there on Greek myths, back in ancient Greece, there wasn't one book that had them all. For ages, Greek myths were shared by word of mouth. Plus, they were written down in things like poems, plays, and histories. So often, you'd get different takes on the same story. But whatever the version, it's mostly just the story details that vary. The big ideas stay pretty consistent. To get a handle on them, we can tackle three key questions. First up, how the Greeks saw the beginning of the world and humans. Second, how Greek myths defined living well. And third, with fate being so fickle, how should mere mortals cope? All right, let's dive into the first question. How the Greeks thought the world and humans came to be. For this, there's Hesiod, an ancient Greek poet who wrote two key works. One is Theogony, the other is Works and Days. And that first one, Theogony, covers how the world began. The latter mainly addresses where humans came from. For a long time, these two works were regarded by Greeks as authoritative explanations of the world's origins. We'll also follow Hesiod's account here. Legend says that, initially, the world had no formed entities, pure chaos. Or put another way, there existed only a primordial deity named Chaos. Later, Chaos gave birth to Gaia, the earth goddess, who became mother to all subsequent deities. Next, Gaia bore Uranus, the sky god, who grew tyrannical, refusing to leave Gaia and seeking to dominate her completely. Thus, the sky pressed tightly against Earth, birthing mountains, rivers, tempests, and even time itself. But Gaia refused submission. She then conspired with Cronus, the time god, to overthrow Uranus and free his siblings, separating sky and earth, creating cosmic space and initiating time's flow. After overthrowing his father, Cronus married his sister Rhea and fathered children, fearing he'd suffer the same fate of being overthrown. So Cronus swallowed each newborn child. After all, time consumes everything. But oh, how fortunes shift! The same story repeated itself. Cronus's youngest son Zeus was hidden by his mother Rhea and Gaia, who tricked Cronus into swallowing a stone instead. Until Zeus came of age. Gaia then devised another clever scheme, forcing Cronus to disgorge his swallowed children. These children, led by Zeus, became the Olympian gods we know. The new gods united. After cataclysmic battles, they finally defeated the Titans. But the divine war ended, life flourished anew as Zeus established cosmic justice, unlike his father, who, like Cronus and grandfather Uranus, devoured his offspring. Instead, he let his children dwell together on Mount Olympus, safeguarding universal order. Among Zeus's offspring were familiar figures like Apollo and Athena. To Greeks, the world's origin and the gods' emergence were fundamentally intertwined. The Theogony's core narrative traces Zeus's emergence and ascent to supreme power. This includes many fascinating stories that explain the origins of numerous Greek deities. But for now, we'll skip those details and focus on three key themes from the theogony. First, the old gods symbolize uncontrollable nature. In the theogony, they're either embodiments of natural forces or bizarre, powerful beings. Now, for example, there's a 100-armed god. Whether ancient Greeks actually believed such gods existed, we can't say for certain. What we do know is these forms represent chaos and disorder, all connected to the primordial chaos deity. This reflects ancient mindsets facing tsunamis, volcanic eruptions, earthquakes. Humans couldn't control these disasters, so out of fear, they deified such forces. Second, unlike the old gods, the new gods represent order and a comprehensible cosmos. New gods like Zeus differed fundamentally in appearance from their predecessors. The Olympians had human forms, emotions, and desires. Their actions were relatable to mortals. They connected more directly to daily life. Hermes protected merchants and thieves. Ares watched over soldiers. Aphrodite governed love, later known as Venus in Roman times. Third, the Olympians' victory over the old gods marked the revolution, signaling a shift in Greek worldview. The old gods retreated, the new assumed cosmic rule. Unlike his father, Zeus didn't strip other gods' powers upon gaining control. Instead, he assigned each Olympian specific responsibilities. Though supreme, Zeus preferred being an arbiter, maintaining cosmic balance. Thus, the world transitioned from chaotic, uncontrollable forces toward order and understanding. Everything found its natural place within the cosmos. For example, stones fall because Earth is their rightful domain. And if stones floated skyward, the universe would descend into chaos. Thus, Greeks perceived an underlying order governing all things, or as Chinese philosophy terms it, the mandate of heaven. Acting by this order constituted justice. All right, we've uncovered the meaning behind the origins of the world and gods. Next, let's explore the story of human origins, also from Hesiod's epic poems. In Works and Days, he shares two legends about humanity's beginnings. The first story goes, humanity evolved through 5 ages, starting with the Golden Age. Genderless humans sprouting directly from Earth, living harmoniously with Olympian gods. And, nature provided abundantly, food everywhere, no labor or illness needed, living almost like deities. Yet they remained mortal, aging and dying. Even death came painlessly, natural as sleep. After that generation passed, Zeus created new humans, the Silver Age. These had prolonged childhoods but brief adulthoods, and their bond with gods weakened. Following the Silver Age came the Bronze Age humans. Warlike by nature, they slaughtered each other, obsessed with cold weaponry. Then came a seeming resurgence, the Heroic Age. Though nobler than Bronze Age people, its end ushered in the Iron Age. Here, lifespans shortened drastically, endless toil for survival, insatiable desires, perpetual suffering. Humans grew impious and unrestrained, severing ties with Olympians. In fact, we still live in this Iron Age today. Why did humanity decline from gold to iron? Why were humans abandoned by the gods? Hesiod answers through Pandora's story. You've probably heard of Pandora's box. That illusion originates here in Works and Days. And Pandora's creation ties to another key figure, Prometheus, from when gods and humans coexisted peacefully. Zeus gave Prometheus an ox to divide fairly between gods and humans. Though a god himself, a Titan descendant, Prometheus favored humans. He split the ox, hiding meat under ugly hide while dressing bones with glistening fat to look delectable. Prometheus tricked Zeus with this little scheme, offering bones to the gods while keeping edible meat for humans. Zeus claimed to be the wisest god, but did he truly fall for Prometheus's trick? We'll never know, but he certainly got angry. To retaliate, he set a trap of his own. Zeus had the divine smith craft an extraordinary mortal woman. Then other gods bestowed gifts, making her the epitome of beauty and talent. This woman was Pandora. Prometheus had warned his brother Epimetheus never to accept gifts from Zeus. But when Zeus sent Pandora, her beauty made Epimetheus forget the warning. He accepted her gladly. Thus, Pandora became the first woman, birthing more women who brought childbirth pains to humanity. But that wasn't all. Pandora carried a jar. Curiosity made her open it, releasing diseases, poverty, and death into the world. Terrified, she slammed it shut, trapping hope inside. So humanity inherited abundant suffering but scarce hope. Pandora's story explains humanity's descent into the Iron Age. Greek origin myths weren't anthropological studies. They served moral instruction. This tale emphasizes three fundamental divides between gods and humans. First, humans experience birth, aging, sickness, and death. To Greeks, mortality was the clearest boundary. Olympians kept eternal youth despite human forms. Before Pandora, humans sprang from Gaia like gods. Afterward, humans could only be born from wombs, not immortal Earth. Second, humans must labor. Prometheus gave meat to humans, leaving inedible bones for gods. This meant humans and gods diverged completely in lifestyle. Gods needed no sustenance, offerings were symbolic, but humans couldn't survive without food. As the saying goes, humans are iron, but food is steel. We need sustenance to survive. So, to live, humans must toil constantly just to put food on the table. Third, human life is tragic. Why did hope remain in Pandora's jar? Because to ancient Greeks, mortal existence was profoundly bleak compared to perfect Olympian immortality. Given mortality, joyful moments are always fleeting. We arrive alone in this world, and alone we shall depart. This beginning and ending were predestined. The popularity of Greek tragedy stems directly from this worldview. By now, we've grasped the origins of gods and humans. To Greeks, the cosmos operated with order maintained by immortal Olympians. But mortal life began tragically, doomed to aging, sickness, death, and endless labor. So we naturally ask, what constitutes a good life for mortals? This is Greek mythology's second major theme. Facing mortality, Greeks believed harmony with cosmic order defined the best life. Everything occupies its natural place within the cosmos. Stones fall because Earth is their rightful domain. If stones floated upward, universal chaos would ensue. Thus, Greeks perceived a governing order, or as Chinese philosophy calls it, the mandate of heaven, and acting by it constituted justice. All right, we've uncovered the meaning behind the world and God's origins. Next, let's explore human origins through Hesiod's epic. In Works and Days, he recounts two creation legends. First story, humanity evolved through 5 ages, starting with the Golden Age of genderless humans sprouting from Earth, living harmoniously with Olympians. Nature provided abundantly, no labor or illness, living like deities. But after all, they were human. They aged and died. Even so, death wasn't painful for them, natural as sleep. After that generation passed, Zeus created new humans, the Silver Age. This group had long childhoods but short adulthoods, and their bond with gods deteriorated. Following the Silver Age came the Bronze Age humans. Bronze Age humans were warlike by nature, killing each other, obsessed only with cold weapons. Then came a seeming resurgence, the Heroic Age. Though nobler than Bronze Age people, its end ushered in the Iron Age. In this age, lifespan shortened drastically, constant toil for survival, insatiable desires, lifelong suffering. Humans grew impious and unrestrained, severing ties with Olympians. In fact, we still live in this Iron Age today. Why did humanity decline step by step from gold to iron? Why were humans abandoned by Olympian gods? Hesiod answers through Pandora's story. Many have heard of Pandora's box. That illusion originates in Works and Days. Pandora's creation ties to a key figure, Prometheus, from when gods and humans coexisted peacefully. Zeus gave Prometheus an ox to divide fairly between gods and humans. Though a god, a Titan descendant, Prometheus favored humans. He split the ox, hiding meat under ugly hide while dressing bones with glistening fat to look delectable. Prometheus tricked Zeus with this scheme, offering bones to gods while keeping meat for humans. Zeus claimed omniscience, but did he truly fall for Prometheus's trick? We'll never know, but he certainly got angry.
To retaliate vengeance, he set a trap of his own.
Zeus commanded Hephaestus to craft an extraordinary mortal woman. Then other gods bestowed gifts, making her the epitome of beauty and talent. This woman was Pandora. Prometheus had warned his brother never to accept any gifts from Zeus. But when Zeus sent Pandora, her beauty made Prometheus's brother forget the warning. He accepted her gladly. Thus, Pandora became the first woman, birthing more women who brought childbirth pains to humanity. But that wasn't all. Pandora carried a jar. Curiosity made her open it, releasing diseases, poverty, and death into the world. Terrified, she quickly sealed the jar, trapping hope inside. So humanity inherited abundant suffering but scarce hope. Pandora's story explains humanity's descent into the Iron Age. Greek origin myths weren't anthropological studies. They served moral instruction. This tale emphasizes three fundamental divides between gods and humans. First, humans experience birth, aging, sickness, and death. To Greeks, mortality was the clearest boundary. Olympians kept eternal youth despite human forms. Before Pandora, humans sprang from Gaia like gods. Afterward, humans could only be born from wombs, not immortal earth. Second, humans must labor. Prometheus gave meat to humans, leaving inedible bones for gods. This meant humans and gods diverged completely in lifestyle. Gods needed no sustenance, offerings were symbolic, but humans couldn't survive without food. As the saying goes, humans are iron, but food is steel. We need sustenance to survive. So, to live, humans must toil constantly just to put food on the table. Third, human life is tragic. Why did hope remain in Pandora's jar? Because to ancient Greeks, mortal existence was profoundly bleak compared to perfect Olympian immortality. Given mortality, joyful moments are always fleeting. We arrive alone in this world, and alone we shall depart. This beginning and ending were predestined. The popularity of Greek tragedy is inseparable from this worldview. Life and death mirror nature's seasonal cycles. Death makes rebirth possible. Thus, at an ancient Athenian temple, this famous oracle was inscribed, "Know thyself," alongside another equally renowned one. The other is "Nothing in excess," together conveying Sisyphus's lesson, "Never forget your mortality, nor covet divine happiness." So, what constituted a good life to ancient Greeks? Having covered that, let's re-emphasize Greek mythology's three foundations. First, the gods are immortal and ageless. Second, their eternity ensures cosmic order's permanence. Third, mortal death is integral to this order. Transgressing invites divine punishment. For mortals, the good life means following natural order without craving divine privileges.
Odysseus and Sisyphus demonstrate this, one through wisdom, one through hubris.
Now, to our final question, if cosmic justice governs all, why by modern standards aren't good deeds always rewarded? Not only does evil often go unpunished, but sometimes the innocent suffer terribly. Where's the justice in that order? Ancient Greeks saw it differently. Enter Oedipus's story. After Sophocles adapted it into tragedy, the tale became legendary, making it perfect for our purpose. Legend tells of Thebes. When its king had a son, a prophet warned the boy would kill his father and marry his mother. Terrified, the king ordered the infant abandoned, yet fate intervened. The baby was found and adopted by another kingdom's ruler.
That infant was named Oedipus.
Growing up, he heard the same prophecy, but unaware of his true origins, he believed his adoptive parents were biological. To avoid the prophecy from coming true, he decided to leave his adoptive parents and travel far away. During his journey, Oedipus encountered his biological father, but mistook him for a stranger. In a quarrel, he accidentally killed him, thus fulfilling the prophecy. Next, Oedipus arrived near Thebes, where a monster called the Sphinx was terrorizing the city, demanding that passers-by solve riddles or be eaten. In this way, the Sphinx devoured many people, becoming a major scourge for Thebes. So, Oedipus approached the Sphinx, and as per tradition, the monster presented him with a riddle. What animal walks on 4 legs in the morning, 2 at noon, and 3 in the evening? The clever Oedipus answered, man. After solving it, the Sphinx threw herself off a cliff. Oedipus became the savior of Thebes, and, unaware of the truth, married his biological mother. After becoming king of Thebes for many years, the city was struck by a plague. As the ruler, Oedipus racked his brains but couldn't figure out how to solve it. Finally, a blind prophet revealed the reason. The cause of the plague was Oedipus himself. He had committed the crime of killing his father and marrying his mother. So the gods punished Thebes. Only by banishing Oedipus could the city be purified. After the plague ended and the truth came to light, Oedipus's mother, who was also his wife, committed suicide. Oedipus blinded himself and left Thebes, wandering in exile for the rest of his life. No one even knows how he died. Thus, Oedipus toyed with my fate, ended up with his family destroyed and himself ruined. We see that Oedipus's fate was extremely tragic. The Greeks told this story not for amusement, but for three purposes.
First, through this story, the ancient Greeks illustrated the absurdity of fate.
In the mortal world, good people not only don't get rewarded, but may have disasters befall them without doing anything wrong. And despite committing the grave sin of patricide and incest, Oedipus had no criminal intent. On the contrary, he tried to avoid the curse of fate. He was unaware of his crimes, yet had to endure the harshest punishment. Just as in our modern world, traffic accidents happen all the time. Every victim might wonder, what did I do wrong to suffer such misfortune? Oedipus might have thought the same about why he had to bear this heavy curse. Faced with such questions, Greeks would just wave it off. No reason, absurd as it is, that's mortal fate. Second, the lofty gods don't care about mortal affairs. This is a fascinating aspect of the Greek worldview. Though gods lived on Mount Olympus, not unreachable at all, they took no responsibility for human suffering nor offered aid. They watched human dramas with cold indifference, even mockery. Unlike later Christianity, where God promises afterlife salvation and guarantees humanity's happy ending. Third, since gods won't save us, humans must learn to live in the present. What do Greeks believe fate imposes? What's imposed is beyond our control. What we can truly change is our attitude toward fate. Ancient Greeks urged us to live now, using reason to master desires and fears, not pining for the vanished golden age. The happier the past memories, the more painful the present, nor should we let fear of the unknown ruin current joy. This is the profound wisdom Greeks conveyed through their myths. Finally, let's revisit the wisdom of myths. Though seemingly fantastical, these myths served moral education and contained Greece's rich humanistic reflections. First, the cosmos isn't chaotic, but has eternal order. This order assigns everything its place and can be understood by human reason. Second, gods exist to highlight human limits. Our mortality is part of cosmic order, unlike divine immortality. Thus, for humans, the good life means respecting this order. Rejecting human limitations invites punishment. Third, fate is fickle. Even gods can't change this, so no need to dwell on the past or fear the future. Face the present squarely. In fact, Greek myths nurtured humanist ideals that later flourished in philosophy, shining brilliantly to this day. All right, the wisdom of myths. That concludes our introduction. Reading notes are below the audio. See you next time.